Tim McGraw's known in the business for having it all. Platinum hits, one of the most successful tours of all time, a beautiful wife who's also a country legend, and a respected and prolific acting career. It's enough to make a guy wonder, what am I doing with my life?
I need you.
Never mind, don't worry about it. Sit back and relax, because you just might find out that behind every picture-perfect life is another side of the story. And Tim McGraw's life is no different.
In good condition.
From his mysterious, dramatic childhood to his current celebrity lifestyle, there's a lot to uncover about Tim you might not expect from the singer's glossy public image. So today we're looking at the true story of Tim McGraw,
Bust your back and take it for free.
including all the details they don't want you to know, hidden families, drunken rampages, and over-the-top luxury. We're telling you the secret life of Tim McGraw.
That's where your journey starts.
And it's chock full of juicy details you don't want to miss.
With a lot of life before me.
So strap up your cowboy boots and go fetch a 10-gallon hat, cause you ain't gonna wanna miss today's episode. But first, remember to like and subscribe. Our channel regularly puts out videos about stars like Tim, so be sure to stay tuned to find out. What happened? Living a lie. Tim McGraw wasn't always Tim McGraw. He grew up as Tim Smith. But that is not the most exciting name I've ever heard, as my name is also Tim Smith. He lived a normal life with his parents in Louisiana, his mother a waitress and his dad a cowboy type. So Tim grew up riding horses before he could walk.
I guess that's just the cowboy in me.
And little Tim was a mischievous little kid. He enjoyed snooping around, and one day while he was poking through his mom's closet looking for Christmas presents, he didn't find any gifts, but he did find something that would forever change his life. It turned out that Tim had been living a lie. The boy uncovered his birth certificate, which said that his real name, of course, was Tim McGraw. Confused and upset, he went to his mother looking for answers, and what she told him blew his mind. In 1966, Tim's mother, Elizabeth Ann DiAgostino, was just a quiet high school student living with her family in Jacksonville, Florida. Elizabeth was a quiet girl who worked as a waitress to make ends meet. But then a new tenant moved into the apartment beneath hers, a troublemaker who was struggling to make ends meet as a minor league baseball player. This ball player was named Tug McGraw, and he took a liking to Elizabeth. He soon started making promises to the poor girl that he had no intentions of keeping, and a few months later, she was pregnant with his child. The second Tug heard the news, he was out of town, so her parents sent her to Louisiana to raise the child in the country. And sure, baseball players may not have the best reputations for being stand-up guys, but come on. And it turns out this was only the beginning. A pained relationship. Alright, rewind back to that moment when Tim found out that Smith wasn't his real name. Naturally, the boy wanted to meet his real father, so his mom agreed and took him to visit. That old minor league baseball player had actually become pretty successful, one of the league's very best pitchers, and he was living a superstar life in New York. Tim's mom took him to see his father pitch in Houston, which of course was a very anxious but exciting event. Tim was a big baseball fan and had his dad's baseball card. The boy wasn't looking for a handout, he was just excited to bond with his biological pops. And terribly, the scummy star refused to admit the kid was his, probably because he didn't want to pay child support. So Tim had to go home disappointed, but he would not give up.
Growing up, I was counting down.
The next year, he got his mom to arrange another trip to go see the pitcher again. This time, he was prepared and brought a Tug McGraw jersey and went right up to the bullpen and got his dad's attention. But the superstar clearly had no interest in being a decent human being. And once again, he ignored him. And this was the breaking point for Tim McGraw. He never again tried to reach out to his dad. and ended up growing up dirt poor with his mom in Louisiana. It wasn't until Tim turned 18 that his dad claimed he was his son. And once he did acknowledge him, Tim could have very well shunned the guy. I mean, he refused to claim him for nearly 2 decades. But Tim didn't have it in him to be angry. He said at the very least, knowing that he had a famous dad motivated him to be a big star too. And he said if his dad wanted to be greedy, that was fine. Tim knew he was capable of being more than successful, to be a better man than his dad ever was. Tug McGraw had his own family by this time with several young kids. And we want to know what you think here. Do you think Tug McGraw was a scumbag for abandoning him? Or was it just what he had to do to follow his dreams? Do you agree with Tim taking the high road? Or do you think he should have said some very choice words?
A moment came that stopped me on a dime. I spent most of
A Drunken Rampage. Being such a huge star, it probably doesn't surprise you to find out that Tim hangs out with some other huge stars too. I mean, he did marry one, so it didn't seem like a big deal when Tim was hanging out with fellow country star and close pal Kenny Chesney in Buffalo, New York. But nobody could have expected the disaster that ended up happening, and the consequences followed them for years. It all started after the 2 country stars performed at the George Strait Country Music Festival. The show itself knocked the audience's socks off, and the 2 were riding high with that special energy you only feel after a killer performance. It's also possible that some intoxicants were involved too, as the 2 were out looking for more excitement. When they approached police officers on their mounted horses, they asked if they could ride them. The cops must have been country fans because they said, sure, go ahead, instead of hitting them in the knees. But Kenny Chesney decided to embrace his outlaw image that day. Maybe he thought he was above the law, or maybe he was just piss drunk.
The car broke down.
Either way, Kenny said F the police and decided to ride away, playing a game of Grand Theft Horsey.
On the RCA, no AC in the vents.
Tim could have talked his friend down or tried to remove himself from the situation, but since the singer was always ride or die with his friends, when the 2 cops ran over to remove Kenny from the horse, Tim leapt into action too and threw one of the officers into a chokehold. After the dust settled, Tim found himself being charged with assaulting a police officer, which in the state of New York is a felony.
till you walked into my life.
It honestly seemed like Tim's career and family, everything he had worked so hard to build, was in jeopardy. Even if he ended up being found guilty of a misdemeanor, he could serve a year in prison, an entire year being separated from his family, his career, and music.
Like freedom down a dirt road.
So the case went to trial, right? And of course, there were probably a few country fans on the jury because they acquitted the 2 stars of all charges. But maybe Tim will think twice before he plays cowboys with his friend Kenny Chesney. A shocking lifestyle. Tim has made a career out of singing relatable songs to the average Joe, and I for one believe he has earned it.
She was killing me in that miniskirt.
We know the boy grew up dirt poor in the rural South while his father was making millions as a pitcher. But in real life, it turns out that Tim, along with his wife, singer Faith Hill, do things a little different than the rest of us. In fact, you may not believe the kind of life the 2 live. Both Tim and Faith made their careers as successful touring artists. The couple even paired up for one of the most successful musical tours of all time.
Just tell something to me.
And the thing about touring is that it's not exactly luxurious. If you're not a superstar, you're probably sleeping in a van. And even if you're a big name, it is exhausting to be on the road day after day. That's why it may shock you to learn that when they're not on the road,
Like a needle needs a vein.
Tim and Faith like to stay somewhere you would not believe. They own an entire private island in the Bahamas, and it is gorgeous. Their island has miles of pristine beach, and Tim and his wife built a massive multi-million-dollar house. Heck, it's not even a house. It's 8 different houses that are all connected. Of course, they employ a huge team of people that live year-round on the island. We're talking gardeners, maids, construction workers for when they want to build another room or another house. I guess growing up dirt poor, you may expect Tim to live kind of quiet still, but whether he keeps the noise down, he is living his life to the fullest on his own private island. Tim McGraw isn't your average country singer. Just maintaining a normal career is hard enough for most musicians. And Tim has gone above and beyond that standard. So what do you think? Are you impressed by the story you've heard? Are you a fan of his acting performances in The Blind Side?
Love that one.
And Flicka? And finally, tell me your favorite Tim McGraw songs. What's his best album? Who has seen him live? Get in the comments and let me know. If you enjoyed our deep dive, give the video a thumbs up, it really helps a lot. Subscribe to the channel and come back often so we can keep telling you